The Kayfabe Crunch thrives thanks to Instagram, the secret social media for maximum fan engagement. Go live, stream games, and chat with your loyal fan base, all while collecting fat checks under the table. Instagram only sells your data to little old China, so there's still time to board the money train. Honk, honk. Is that what trains say?
The Kayfabe Crunch. We want the news.
No, it's awful. The blood's everywhere. Good news! This is your Kayfabe Crunch for Saturday, September 19th, 2020. I'm Mike, Molly Go Round. Coming up, we have all the latest from an action-packed week in wrestling. Plus, as we approach Clash of Champions, we're going to ask you to bend over as we check the temperatures of all WWE's current titles. But first, on this day in grappling history. In 1993, the Shockmaster made his in-ring debut at Fall Brawl inside War Games. Now, fans had already famously soured on the Shockmaster due to his inaccurate Stormtrooper mask. We didn't get sparkly purple Stormtrooper helmets until the sequels. Probably, I don't know. I don't watch kids' movies, only adult sports. And in 2004, New Jack missed his own retirement show. While New Jack didn't formally retire until last year, safe punchline that won't get me killed by a psychopath. Thanks for choosing the Kayfabe Crunch. We're the proud home of fake news about a real sport. And now, let's get on with the Naughty-Nude news. Top story, Miz's Dirt Sheets. The Miz and John Morrison opened SmackDown with their Dirt Sheet, where they promised to reveal a rather juicy series of exclusives. They included an expose of Bayley, Samoan family secrets, retribution identities, what's the purpose of Raw Underground, and what was really said between Matt Hardy and Tony Khan on that night. Instead of these hot scoops, The Miz began with the sudden departure of Mandy Rose to Raw. The story on everyone's lips. Miz admitted to being the mastermind behind the trade, but that he did so to help Otis. He branded Rose as a distraction to more than just Corey Graves, and asserted that with her gone, Otis could focus on his Money in the Bank contract. The A-lister insisted Otis would get over it, as he went on to spread rumours that Rose had already done so, kindly reminding everyone that,
yeah, Ziggler's over there.
I love how even in kayfabe, he's the resident sex pest. Otis finally had enough. He rushed the ring, attacked both Miz and Morrison, and then stripped Miz of his clothes on live television. Now, thankfully, we live in a world of emerging equality, and so we at The Crunch have to ask, what if Otis had done this to a female wrestler? Miz really has grounds for a sexual assault case here, especially with the incident being broadcast to, that's the next part, that's what he did? Okay. Later in the night, Miz served Otis with court papers, insisting he hand over the briefcase or be taken to court. If only the characters in Pulp Fiction had thought of that. Many wrestling journalists over the next week will be confused by what's going on here. How and why is Otis being taken to court? What the hell is this story? They'll say, look, Otis removed someone's clothes on live television without their consent. I'm a feminist, and that means equality. And if The Miz was your wife or your daughter, she would have just been humiliated in front of millions by a ham ogre. And now it's time for your fast count, the mom in the minivan of news.
Sasha Banks vows to take the SmackDown Championship from Bayley after she leaves the galaxy and returns with a valuable alien child.
Jeff Hardy challenges Sami Zayn and AJ Styles to a ladder match. Two of WWE's most injury-prone stars in a dangerous stipulation? What could go wrong?
Bro is like a universal language. It can convey any emotion or thought. Don't believe me? Check this out, bro.
He's throwing away half the world's market. You know what bro means in Mandarin? It means asshole. You know what bro means in Portuguese? Rapist.
Big E returns and drops a security guard through a car windshield. Decidedly, the best friends did it better.
Michael Cole insists there are no cardboard cutouts in the Thunderdome, which fails to explain his commentary partner.
Bray Wyatt accused of violence against women as he successfully possesses Alexa Bliss to physically harm the women's division. Follow this story to see how possession holds up in court.
Nikki Cross reveals WWE forced her to undergo cosmetic surgery this summer.
Every single time I faced Bayley, I felt like I had to have eyes on the back of my head.
Reigns and Uso win a Samoan street fight, named as such due to the nationality of half the competitors. We're looking forward to all of the Swiss street fights in Cesaro's next singles run. Those famously aggressive Swiss. And that's your Fast Count.
You've been counted out. God bless you, Sue.
Clash of Champions is just around the corner. Yep, I think I can just see it peeking out from the brickwork over there. And with every title on the line, the research department thought now would be a great time to analyze the current heat of the championships in WWE. We'll be excluding belts belonging to the NXT brand, as despite the insistence of it being a third and equal brand in WWE, their champions aren't invited to the Clash. Why is that, WWE? Is it because they're not really an equal third brand, as you say? Or is it because a 16 match card sounds like a fucking nightmare? So lay your belts on the table and pull down your pants. It's time to check some temperatures. Let's start with the United States Championship, currently held by Bobby Lashley, currently desired by Apollo Crews, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. Let's face it, the Hurt Business has been great for this mid-card title. The fact that this elite group of businessmen are after this particular piece of gold adds so much value. And the current temperature? Warm. The Intercontinental Championship, currently held by Sami Zayn. Currently desired by Jeff Hardy, the fake news champion. Who are you going to believe, me or a billionaire? And AJ Styles. Although wrestlers like Sheamus, King Corbin, Matt Riddle, and Chad Gable have also shown interest in recent weeks. It's great to see a mid-card title being chased by former world champions and future stars alike. All this division is lacking is a little bit more urgency from the contenders. Current temperature? Tepid. The women's tag team titles, currently held by some guy named Jackson Baszler. The women's tag titles might be the hottest belts in the company right now. Bold statement, hot take. Over the summer, they were cemented by main event players in both Bayley and Banks, who are by far the most interesting thing in WWE right now and then. But they're also the vocal goal of teams across at least 3, if not 4, WWE brands. With some teams in NXT literally forming just for the chance to acquire them. This instantly adds a ridiculous amount of prestige to the white-hot gold. Current temperature? Take them off the grill, they're absolutely roasting. The Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. The same can't really be said for the men's tag division. with the core evidence being that my production staff have decided to group them together into one segment. There's nothing wrong with the current champions. The Street Profits are highly entertaining, and Cesaro and Nakamura are seasoned veterans. But these teams are currently feuding with each other, and there's no real depth to either brand. Perhaps things could heat up a little more if the divisions were unified as they are with the women. Current temperature? Frigid. Fetch the poor things a blanket. The SmackDown Women's Championship. Currently held by Bayley, currently desired by Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and, presumably, Sasha Banks. The rivalry, 2 years in the making, is finally coming to a head. The title almost takes a backseat to the animosity between Banks and Bayley, but with Nikki Cross being the #1 contender, it stops this strap being an afterthought. Especially the emphasis that was placed this summer by the champ and her former partner on holding gold. Current temperature? Balmy. Tropical even. Fetch the moisturizer. The Raw Women's Championship, currently held by Asuka, currently desired by Zelina Vega, Mickie James, and the Eternal Natalya. This title has fallen a little bit into the shadows compared to this time last year, but Asuka is such a presence, such a natural champion, that she's managing to carry a division and its title that's at the weakest it's been in quite some time. Current temperature? Room. The Universal Championship. Currently held by Roman Reigns, currently desired by Jey Uso, of all people. At present, Reigns is more important than anything he holds over his shoulder. It's why it's a positive thing he has the belt, as anyone else would be taking a back seat to the big dog. The biggest question at the moment is how evil will Roman get, and not necessarily who will take his belt. Unless it's Jey Uso, and that would be hilarious. Current temperature? Simmering at a medium heat on the back burner. The WWE Championship. Currently held by a sexy 6'6" Scotsman, currently desired by Randy Orton and Keith Lee. Raw, where the big boys play. They may not be to everyone's liking, but this variety of heavyweight, larger-than-life stars, each with a different motive and desire to capture the WWE Championship, for me, that's just classic pro wrestling. The issue here is keeping things fresh and interesting, as the next 3 defenses seem a little predictable. Current temperature? Hot. Just a classic hot heat. So, as it turns out, most divisions have a good number of competitors vying for each title, as well as clear main event stars with compelling motives. This makes for a healthy sport, healthy competition, and therefore, hopefully, a healthy clash. Oh, and if the 24/7 championship isn't defended at the show next weekend, the entire event is invalidated and will be considered a failure, thank you. And there's just time for a look at some breaking local wrestling news. A luchador has been spotted in downtown Wamsgans, stealing folding tables from various stores. CCTV footage shows a masked man entering multiple stores and exiting a few minutes later. Eyewitnesses say he's clearly training for an upcoming tables match, or possibly even a TLC. But store owners aren't exactly thrilled by his actions. All we know at present is that he wears a gold mask and doesn't answer to the name. "Hey, what are you doing? Put my table down!" He doesn't answer to that. Join us Tuesday when we'll ask, why are Dominik Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Dio Madden, Shane Thorne, and Mercedes Martinez pretending like we can't see them? And remember, you can support the Kayfabe Crunch by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. Didn't like it? Don't bother. But if you did like this episode, then you probably should. I don't know, it's your life, it's your feed. There's already too much media, so your call. This has been the Kayfabe Crunch, your not quite daily, not quite news, bump for the world of professional wrestling.
The Kayfabe Crunch thrives thanks to Inkagram. Sick of your boss stating where and how you can make money? You're an independent contractor, and no one can tell you what to do. Sign up to Inkagram and keep all of your interactions hidden from the white-collar watchdogs. We're the best-kept secret in digital media. At least, we were until we ran these ads.
The Kayfabe Crunch.